Okay, I want to talk a little bit about what your syllabus calls the data analysis project, and if you'll look at the syllabus, doesn't explain a whole lot, and that's because I'm going to talk about it now. So the syllabus just simply says data analysis project on one of the course requirements assignments, and then down below it says that weighs 100 points. So right there. So if you look at your D2L site, it looks like this. And I've headed this project. And there are two parts to it. There are the instructions, which essentially are the questions that you have to answer, and the project data. If you double click on project data, you're going to get a window like this, and this opens up automatically into SPSS, or actually, however you get that Citrix. So you may have to open the Citrix and then go back and open after you save it to your desktop or something crazy like that. But you've got the video on how that works. I'll help you if you need to. But this is an SPSS document, and I've got variables of ID, class, as in whether junior, senior, whatever, male or female, how old they are, what their high school GPA is, what their ACT composite score is, what their SAT verbal is, what their SAT math score is, what their college GPA is. And I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions about those. So those are the data that you have. Everybody's got the same data. And under the instructions, it's just a list of 5 questions. The first question pretty clearly says you're going to do simple regression. That means you have one predictor, one independent variable, same thing I mean by that, and then one outcome or one thing you're trying to predict. And so your college GPA is what college GPA would be predicted. So the college GPA is the dependent variable, the high school GPA is the independent variable. So I want to know what the equation is, and then I want to ask you questions about how that equation works. So you've got to come up with the equations, and you've got to answer these 2 specific questions. So number 1 has to do with simple regression. I'll just tell you that. Number 2 is also regression, and it tells you multiple regression. So it says we're still trying to predict college GPA, but this time we're using more than just one thing. We're using several predictors as independent variables. High school GPA, ACT composite scores, SAT verbal, and SAT math scores. So we'll know the equation, and then 2B asks about what you would expect the college GPA for person number 1. Now person number 1, I'm talking about person number 1 on this very first line here. This person number 1 who has this age, has this high school GPA, this ACT composite score, this SAT verbal score, and so forth. So I want to know what you expect his college GPA to be. Three, 4, and 5 have to do with the last 3 procedures. There's one of each. I'm not going to tell you which is which, because I want that to be clear. So I want you, if you ask me, I'll talk about it, but I want you to have at least thought about it before you ask me if you're not sure. One is a two-way ANOVA. Well, actually, I'll back up. One is a regular ANOVA. One is a one is a multivariate ANOVA. I'm sorry, one's a regular ANOVA, one's a that's what's throwing me off. Regular plain old ANOVA, a multivariate ANOVA, and the analysis of covariance, an ANCOVA. If you kind of know what they are, it should be figure-outable. So I ask you questions about those. I will tell you in these, again, spoiler alert again, you're not going to find a lot of things that are significant. So I'll just tell you that up front. So don't think you're doing things wrong. I didn't find anything that's significant. Well, you find what you find. So don't feel like you've got to find significance everywhere. So questions about what's expected or what's being looked for in that data project, the data assignment. Again, I will. This will be a redo. You've got the due dates in the syllabus. If you turn it in soon enough, I'll let you redo it until the final due date. So hopefully everyone's going to get the full credit for this. Question is, do you want output winners? Yes, I do. Good question. Thank you. I meant to say that. I do want the output winners. I know they're all the same. I know what they look at, but I want to make sure I get them from you because they're not something I'm going to go over as either an example or as a homework problem. It's a homework problem, but I want to see you come up with it before I come up with it, please. Any other questions or comments or thoughts or anything else? Kind of clear? At least it will be probably till you start thinking about it. Yeah, check the syllabus for that. Yes, just answer the questions. Yeah, I'm not asking for an APA write-up on any of these things. Just answer the question. For example, I want those F statements. F of how many degrees of freedom equals whatever value. Yes, I do specifically ask for those. And I want to know what they mean. And you'll probably have more questions as you get into them, and that's fine. I kind of expect that. But for now, I want you to be able to, at least everybody to be able to get started. So far, so good? Okay.